Hey everybody, we're back. I forgot to hit shift on the pause there, so it actually ended the first segment at 7 minutes. If it was less than 5, I could add it and make it one video, because YouTube lets you um, have videos, I think, up to like 14 minutes before you have to pretty much subscribe, to them, or not subscribe, but actually give them lots of information and stuff like that about yourself. I think they know who I am, and they've given me recognition. I'm giving you recognition um, for having heading up on 20,000 views. That's not viewers, that's views. You got to divide that. So if I was going to do my little calculator over here, we say 20,000 views, right there, divided by, let's say, 8 parts per lesson, or say 7 parts per lesson. Okay, so that's divided by 7 parts per lesson, that's 2,800. And then divided by 200 subscribers, well, equals 14 lessons per subscriber. So each one of you has pretty much watched 14 of the lessons, which is 14 hours of Andy. And I thank you for that. So anyway, let's move along. I put in the full amount. I put in the full amount. I don't know how many videos are up there, about 600. Or 500 rather. Let's be conservative about it. So that's 500 times 10. Let's do this one more time. Just show you a little bit of fun about how engineers, use calculators. So it'd be 500 times 10 minutes each equals 5,000 minutes divided by 60, and that is 83 hours of lessons. That's pretty good. That's 83 hours I've actually been on camera with this YouTube site here. So let's just add one more for 84. So with the D, the E flat is my favorite key. The thing about E flat, it has the nice leading tone in the D, where A flat doesn't have that. A flat's leading tone is the G, but when you're going up the scale from A flat, it has that D flat, whereas E flat doesn't have that D flat. Okay, so every key has a leading tone. You don't want to hit the dominant seventh when you get up there. So our key of E flat, I don't consider D sharp a recognizable key. It's just E flat to me. Although in the diagrams that we're going to get to, if there's a sharp key, let's look at that right now if we can. So we can bounce around a little bit. Is this today's chart? This chart isn't even on here, so I don't know why we're doing how that chart got on the charts. So let's see. Okay, this is a pretty good chart. The reason why I'm not going to worry about what numbers. They're all from 235 to 239. Okay, so this has the patterns, and that's the end result. Once you know, say you're on this dot, say you're on the A dot, okay, and say once you know what scale degree that A dot is of the key that you're playing in. So if you're playing in C, that scale degree is going to be the 6th scale degree, right? So then we get to the point where we can do 2 string shapes off that 6. We can do the, right up here, we can do 6, 7 root, okay, or we can do 5, 6. And they're related by cage. So 6, 7 root is the right here. Let's get the drawing tool. 6, 7 root right here is the G shape, and 5, 6 is the A shape. And in the word caged, A and G are right next to one another. So they share. Cage shares. And by the way, cage backwards shares too. So caged backwards is D, E, G, A, C. There's an ascending pentatonic scale, phrased or coined or named or agreed upon to be referenced by, I sound like a dictionary, the key of C. So like I say, it's caged C, A, C, A, G, E, D. It's not in the key of F, which would be F, D, C, F, D, C, A, G, and then F again. That's what messed me up. I was looking for those 3 whole steps. It's not the F, D, C, A, G, whatever word that spells. You name it. It's not that system. It's done, phrased in the C system, but it applies to everything. We just call it the cage system. So when we talk about different shapes, we're talking about the C shape. Okay, then the A shape is here, and the G shape, the E shape, let it ring out, and the D shape. And by the way, I just saw a good video by a guy named Ray, and he was great, very nice guy. And he was talking about muting the guitar like that. Well, the guitar and the piano are opposites. So the piano usually, pianists have always been dogged by a sustain pedal that's broken, so it doesn't work. The sustain pedal doesn't physically take the muters off. See, when a piano hits a string, when the hammer hits the string, as soon as the hammer comes off, the muters go back on. And they're like these felt-shaped wedges, and they just go between 2 strings, and they're between every one of the 2, so it mutes the string. Piano players are always dogged by have often been dogged by a broken sustain pedal. So we're playing, so our hands are glued to the piano while we're playing that. Whereas electronic piano is often reverse polarity on the sustain pedal, so suddenly it's stuck in sustain. I don't even have that working on I don't even have my pedal working on my piano. Okay, so right there, but it works most of the time. I might have unplugged it when I was doing some work on my setup here. It could be unplugged. Yeah, it might be. I don't know. So anyway, so piano and guitar are like opposites. Usually when you play a piano, it's in like staccato, but when you apply the muter, when you apply the sustain pedal, it lifts all those muters up and holds them away from the strings, and then it can ring out. Okay, I just can't do it because I'm faking it because my sustain pedal isn't even plugged in. Okay, so guitar is different than that. It's the opposite. Okay, it's always on sustain. So what